Righty. Good morning. How are we all? Did you have enough donuts? I just went, American breakfast, dessert, whee! That's amazing. So if you're coming in and you can't find a seat, the overflow rooms are 20. I'm looking at Eric up here, and 21? 20 and 23, of course. Why would it be 21? So if you can't find a seat, you can go there as well. That was the housekeeping, I think. Anyway, so I brought Cozmo. Has anyone heard of Cozmo before? A few hands. Yay! Excellent. Has anyone got a Cozmo? 3, 4 hands. Okay, that's cool. All right. So a bit of a disclaimer. This is a sort of a light-hearted, fun talk with a bit of code thrown in as well. So, don't expect the new astrophysics theory or anything, but it'll be good. So I'm here to try and get you to be friends with Cozmo. And it's really weird because I'm hearing my voice after I talk, but I'll get used to it. So if you hadn't noticed, I live here. More specifically, I live where it says giant spiders. Yeah? That's your idea of Australia, right? Yeah, exactly. Terrible beer and lots of things that'll kill you. So this is my backyard. Could be my backyard. I do live in country Victoria in Australia, so we have, koalas and wombats, echidnas, kangaroos, all the stuff that you always see on all the TV shows. And of course, we want people to visit. So have you ever heard of drop bears? Oh, yeah. Yeah? Okay, because we have this campaign at the moment. We want you to be aware of drop bears if you do come and visit. So now, it's not we don't want you to visit, we just want you to survive. So, and I thought I'd just mention one thing that most people don't know about Australia, because you all know about all the things that'll kill you, right? Is that we have ski areas. Did you know that? That's 90 minutes from my house. I know, it's pretty cool. It looks kind of a quaint little Austrian village or something. So anyway, there you go. That was me. If you have questions throughout the talk, there's a few possibilities. Either yell it out, more than welcome. I may ignore it, but I may also answer it. You can put it on the Slack channel. So if you're on Slack on your phone, there's one called 2018-Blue, and I will answer them either at the end or after the session. Or you can also just come up and ask afterwards, and there might be a little bit of time. But please just raise your hand, yell out, whatever, through the talk. I'm fine with that. Cool. That was the housekeeping. So before we get to this guy, and don't worry, I've got a camera here so you can see what's happening and everything, right? I've got a million things here to set up, so hopefully it'll all work, so that you get an idea of what Cozmo does and is. But before we start, has anyone heard of the Radicon robot? There's one person. That's amazing. Two. Sorry, I apologize. It was the first remote-controlled toy, and it was like a steel robot in the 50s, 1957. And it was Japanese, of course it was Japanese. And it's about yay high, and it sounds like a freight train coming through. It's hilarious. And the eyes look like they're gonna laser beam you, and it's just the kid's worst nightmare. But it was a toy. So that was the first robot we had that kind of put robots in the house, although with a remote control and everything. But that was kind of cool. Look it up on YouTube. There's a few videos of it, of people using it. Then we go way back. Has anyone ever seen this diagram or knows what it is? I didn't think so, because I had no freaking clue either. This is a Chinese astronomical clock tower from 1088, so like 1,000 years old, which was computerized, as in it was powered by water and had these autonomous features and functions. And that's the first known example of anything we have that's autonomous, which is kind of cool. I didn't know it was like 1,000 years ago. So we didn't just arrive at the steel metal robot of death. Another thing was then we got to this guy, well, not that guy, but an Indian or Pakistani or Persian guy, we're not quite sure, in 1200-ish, and he started doing things with water as well. He actually made household tools automated by water. Like, I'm not sure what they were. Maybe they were a mixer or something. I'm not sure what they did. But how cool is that? Like, 800 years ago, someone was doing automated household equipment. And today I got a water bottle that's connected to my phone. There we go. He also made these figures, I guess, which were a water fountain that did automated things and looked like people that moved and stuff like that. So we've been doing this for a while. Okay, this is really cool. This was found in 1950s. Anyone recognize that diagram? Or even the style of it? Yes? Da Vinci, exactly. Very good. And he had this, whatever it was, scribbled somewhere, and someone found it and decided, hey, we should do that. We'll make it. So they did. And there's an automated suit of armor. So done with pulleys and everything, and it actually moves around, and it was like a party piece. They believe it was made for, like, courts of parties or getting drunk or whatever. But some sort of equipment for entertainment, which I think is really cool. I knew that Leonardo did a lot of flying machines and those sort of inventions. I didn't know he also made automatons. Heard of that? No? Don't know? No? Okay, yeah, figured. That's the first example we had of someone kind of pretending to be a robot on film, 1930s. Quick trivia, because I think this was weird. This film had 5 directors and 14 different writers. There you go. Had nothing to do with robots, but it was interesting. The first thing we know that used the word robot was this Czech play called RUR, which is what it says there, where they used robot, which actually just means to serve in some sort of derivation of the Czech language. And then, of course, we have these, which have been very popularized in Hollywood culture. You've probably heard of the 3 laws of robotics, which came from Isaac Asimov's novels, which is still kind of what we're trying to adhere to, I guess. Not officially, of course, but we're trying. All right, no questions? That's okay. All right. And then, of course, we have robots today. This is Pepper, who I met in Oslo, of all places. And Pepper has this sort of support or service nature, I guess. So it'd come up and say, oh, what can I do for you? And there's sort of machine learning involved in trying to figure out what it can do for you. And it's a little bit creepy because it just follows you. Kind of like, can I help? Can I help? Can I? And you go away! But it's kind of cool. There was an IT company that had it as a gimmick in their cafeteria. And then, of course, we have these wonderful devices. Has anyone got robots at home? Any kind of automated things? Anyone has a Roomba that eats socks? Yes? And you used it twice and then put it away? Yep, all right. Exactly. I've got one as well. I would love to have one of these, an automated lawnmower. I just don't trust it, because who knows where it's going to go. Allegedly, it doesn't eat your flowers, but meh. So, anyone got good suggestions, or good, I guess, good robotic devices that they've seen that actually works? That killed that one. Alrighty. So that's the background, right? I just wanted to have you kind of an idea of where we're coming from. Once we're going to talk about this little guy, he's very small, but very cool. We'll get to him very, very shortly. First of all, I will tell you how I found him and why am I even talking about this. It has all to do with this guy. So that's my 12-year-old. His name is Jordan. Jordan's on the autism spectrum, and he has trouble kind of focusing on things. Attention span's very short. He does, unless it's computers. I've never met a 7-year-old that would install a Mac OS VM on a Windows 10 VM. Sorry, on a Windows, what was it? It was a Windows 10 machine with a Windows 7 VM with a Mac VM in that. I know, it's crazy. So I tried to find something that would stimulate him and actually give him some sort of, purpose is kind of a grandiose term, but some sort of aim of doing something that will react to what he does, that has an immediate impact of, hey, I just did this thing, now it's working. So we found Cozmo. And I'll let Cozmo introduce himself, I think. Should be sound. We have sound. There's no sound. Please, sound. It's a bit flat without sound, I must admit. Let's just try again. Is the sound working? It is working. Spare 1 minute. I'm thinking that we can do a bit of a troubleshooting session here. That should be that one, shouldn't it? Yeah? Oh, not all at once. Okay, yeah. Let's try that again. Hey. That was the best thing about your presentation.
Once in a lifetime, an innovation comes along that changes the course of mankind. A modern marvel of science and engineering. Allow me to introduce Cozmo. Cozmo? Cozmo! Oh boy. Yes, Cozmo. We can play later.
And that's totally how he is. He's a cheeky little bugger. He's really funny. But we'll get into all of that. I'll show you how all that works. First, I just want to talk about what he does. I don't know if you can see it, but here he is, right? He's not very big, about the size of your fist, but he's got all this cool stuff in it. So he's got they call it an emotional display, which is marketing term for wank. No, it isn't. But you know how they have to sell it, right? It's an LCD display on the front of him that is his face. But it'll also do other things like showing images or showing the Wi-Fi password when connecting to him and all that. It's just a display on the front. But it is his soul, which is why they're called emotional display. Those eyes are just so engaging. It's very cool. Facial recognition, there's a little webcam on him. So he will actually know who you are. So in the app, which I'll show you as well, he recognizes who people are. And then the people that play more with him, he'll seek them out because he knows there's a bigger chance of playing, which is really cool. And you can obviously use it for image recognition and other stuff like that in the SDK. 30 frames per second VGA, so you can show video on it as well, which I think one of my demos have. 4 motors to move him around, and he has a sensor on the bottom as well, so he shouldn't fall off the table. I say shouldn't, because he's not always listening. And then he has like the CPU evaluate reaction. So depends on what you want him to do. He has this sort of whole engine that try to figure out what is the best response to that. So I'll put him back on his little house there. So he does a few things. And these are kind of like the, I guess the promotional things that Anki has come out with. But he does recognize pets as well. I know, I love it. And he's fully on. He's got his own, like we'll see when we turn him on, he'll start going around doing his own thing, right? You can play games with him. He gets really annoyed if you keep beating him. If he loses a lot, he you know, yeah. Can I swear? Is this being recorded? It's not being recorded. Is it, Eric? No? Okay. Yeah, he's hilarious. He just gets really, really annoyed. Yeah, there you go. He's got attitude. He's really got attitude. All right, enough about that. Let's have a look at what Cozmo does. So we'll see if we can get all the pieces to work here. So that's my webcam. I don't have that much light on here, but hopefully you can see it. You get the idea? Yeah? What if I move this down a bit? There we go. So I can also pick it up. I can show you what he looks like and stuff. Wow, that's dark, isn't it? I think there's supposed to be a light in the webcam, but anyway. That's what we have, okay? That gives you an idea, so you don't have to come up and stay next to the table. Then I have my phone, which is here. So my phone's connected via Wi-Fi to his Wi-Fi hotspot, which doesn't give internet, which is why it's tethered. So I have internet to Cozmo via my phone, and I can use the SDK. Get it? So let's just have a look. I'll press connect on here. I'll just move this down a bit so you can see Cozmo moving. So I don't know if you can see it, but he is now, oh, there we go. There we go. So you can see the cubes are lighting up. He's making sounds. It's a bit hard to hear from here, but let me just try and turn him up. Okay, so now he's just going to move around and do his own thing. I'm not touching anything here. So he's just exploring his space, and as you can see, the bottom left there says Cozmo's looking around. So he full on has his own automated way of doing things. And then in a minute, he'll come over and say, hey, can you play with me? Can you do something? Can we tap on some cubes, or can I stack him, or can I, slam on your finger, or whatever it might be, right? So he's just trying to figure out what he's doing now. It's got a few different kind of, app features down here. You can see there's a blue, a red, and a yellow. The blue, if I press on that, I can feed him. So if I press feed, I need to take one of the cubes and I shake it. You see that lights up down there? So now I've charged it, it's lighting up, and I can put it in front of him, and then he goes and eats it, right? So there's all these ways of trying to get you to engage with him. Oh, he missed it. Oh, no, he's going that way. Okay, totally. There you go. So now he goes, oh, no, stop lighting. Anyway. It's glitchy sometimes. It usually works for the most part, but he'll just eat it and he'll get all fed and everything. We'll just try it again. Whee! There we go. There you go, Cozmo. Oh no, he doesn't. Anyway, you can do the same with the play. You can play games with him, but you can also tune him up, which is a bit pointless, to be honest. That's just trying to get you to use the app and again and again. And you know how it is with apps. They always kind of go, hey, Cozmo's missing you. Hey, Cozmo wants to play a game. Hey, and just keep going, right? Oh, what's he doing now? Oh well, he's trying to figure out what's happening. And you can see that you probably can't see, but that lights up as green, the other one's blue, so they have different colors. He's now trying to stack him, I think. Yeah, he's building a stack of cubes. So he gets to keep doing that. So what we can do on the app, I'll get into the Python code in a minute, but first we have this discover here. So there's something called Code Lab. Oh, sorry, I'll just get this out front. And Code Lab, have anyone used Scratch with your kids, or just because you thought it was cool? Yeah, cool. Code Lab is very much like Scratch. So my 3-year-old will actually use this as well and can do rudimentary things like getting him to move around and turn around and stuff. So we can do constructor mode, new constructor project, and then you just build up stuff as you go. And he's built a stack of cubes. Isn't that exciting? I know. All right, thanks for coming. So, all right. There we go. So now we can do drive. And you say, I want to turn there. Whoops. Turn. And we can put that up there. And then we can say actions. I want to say hi. Oh, he talks. That's right. He does a whole bunch of stuff. We'll get through it all when we look at all the code. And then he can do an animation. Play the mystery animation, that'll do. And then if I play this, is it that one? He'll actually move around, right? So now he's turning. He said, hi. What are you doing? Oh. Anyway, okay, so you get the idea? That's the app, right? So you need the app to control Cozmo, but then the really cool thing is that as developers, how many here write code every day? It's pretty much everybody. Is there managers here at all? Get out. No. But it is, we want to see the code. Quit activity, yeah, we want to quit it. All right. Yes. And obviously you press play, and by all means, if you want to seek me out afterwards, if you want to have a play with him, more than happy to let you try and figure out how it works. He's got these different games and tricks and stuff he can do. And the more you use the app, the more you unlock, the more engagement, blah, blah, blah. That's how it works. So, settings. In here, we have enable SDK. So if we press that, he freezes. So now I'm in control. I am now God. I know. So we don't actually need the phone anymore. So the way it works, I'll just show you one slide here. So there's an SDK so the company behind this is called Anki, and they do a bunch of other robotic stuff. They have this race track, Scalextrics, is that a thing in America? Complete silence. Okay, slot cars, maybe? Yeah, there we go. Okay, much better name than Scalextrics. And they do a thing without the track kind of thing that knows its way around the track and stuff like that. They do a lot of really cool stuff, especially sort of for kids between 8 and 15, there's a lot of really cool stuff, which we all are, right? Really, come on, be honest. So there's an SDK, and this has a ton of stuff, and it's very, very, very well abstracted. So if you want to make him turn, it's kind of like in Python code .turn and then degrees. It's really that simple. You don't have to worry about any of the nitty-gritty raw information of data that comes out of all the sensors. That's all been abstracted for you, and it's really well done. It's very, very easy to get going. But it does all of these things. So there's vision systems, which is face recognition, told you about that. Pet detection, so cats and dogs and whatever. Motion detection, color detection, face tracking, which is reasonably accurate. I'll just give you another example of that. AI stuff, so it'll actually learn from it when you interact with Cozmo. He'll learn about what you're doing. Manipulation, so you get him to interact with the cubes. The cubes are what makes it really fun, because that's where all the games are. That's where you can build stuff. He'll tip him over. They have 4 different colors in the LEDs, so you can control those manually as well. He's got different colors on him, so you can do games where you match the colors. There's a ton of possibilities, a lot more than you initially think. And then obviously he's got animations on his. I'm just going to move that. Sorry, Cozmo. There you go. No, put him over. Put him a bit here in front of the camera. And yeah, sound. And we can do fun stuff with interwebs as well. And I'll see. That's my final demo. And if the demo gods are friendly today, we'll do a bit of fun with that. So here is. And by the way, I'm just using the official Anki tutorial documents because you can just go and download them and use them yourself. And there's a ton of really good examples of all sorts of the different capabilities that he has. So does anyone here not read Python as such? Has anyone never ever looked at Python? Sorry. It is, I mean, to be honest, I had never really used Python before I started doing Cozmo as well. And it is really simple. It's very easy to read, especially with this SDK from these guys. So I don't know if you can guess what this is going to do. Robot.sayText, hello world? No? It's pretty damn, straightforward, right? Okay, so we can run this because I have connected Cozmo via the SDK, via the USB, via the Wi-Fi. Got it? And we can say, there's the first script there, right? Hey, hello. Can you actually read that? Should I make that bigger? There's a hand from the top saying yes. All right. I'm guessing that means I can read it. Yeah? Bigger. Okay. Let's make it bigger. Oh, that's not it. Sorry. Is it cursor size? God, I never changed this. No. Whatever you do, don't help me out, okay? Thanks. Font. 36? Oh yeah. That's the whole window. That better? Because it's not going to get any bigger. All right, so now we're going to press enter. And I've just obviously installed the Python runtime and everything on the computer first and put in the path to make sure I can run py action scripts from anywhere. And then it'll just kind of work. So do that. Come on, Cozmo. There we go. Ah. Oh. What's it doing? This is one of the beautiful things. You got to use the Android debugging bridge. Ah, the daemon's not running, which it was when I started the talk. Anyway, let's try again. Can you hear that? Let me just try it again. I'll put it up here. Oh.
Hello, world.
Oh, isn't that cute? Don't clap yet, because that was like the world, project. Okay. So let's go. Driving a square. Whoa, that's quick. That text font is okay, yeah. Back row. Cool. Again, the SDK is so simple, and because it's Python, we can kind of read it. So, do 4 times, which is this for loop. And then robot, which is obviously a reference to Cozmo. And no, you cannot control more than one robot. Let's just be clear on that. You can't have your little army of them going everywhere. Drive straight. means he's going to drive straight. Yeah? And then how far? Millimeters? I'm sorry, it's in millimeters. I apologize. It's about 6 miles. And then the speed, millimeters per second, that's about 120 miles an hour. and then he'll turn, right, 90 degrees, and then he'll do that 4 times. So let's see if he actually does it, okay? So we're going to do py of 4 drive square. And he has no concept of where things are now, by the way, because I'm controlling him, right? Because I'm the master. So he's just going, ooh, there we go. Whee! Oh, I'm in the way of light, sorry. But you get the idea, right? So he does exactly what you tell him to. He'll run off the edge of the table, do all that, because I haven't told him about any of the sensors. I've just told him precisely what to do. And then he stops, and that's it. We can make him sing in scales. Because why wouldn't you? So what we also going to, so we have a voice pitch. This is how you modulate the voice. We can make him move the head, and then we can set the lift, so that's the forklift on the front. And then we're going to set the head angle, so that's tilting his head. Yeah? So you can move his head, and you can also set the head angle directly to what it is. Between 25 and 42 degrees, I think it is. So you can't make him lose his head, essentially, okay? And then he lifts the things, and he moves his head, and then he sings all the scales, okay? So we'll do that. And please, if you've got questions, again, not all at once. Eventually, I will start calling you Norwegian, if there's no questions. I'm just warning you. Okay. Say again? Do you write these programs yourself? No, well, I could. But these are all the tutorials because I want you, if you want to play with them, you just go and get that. And you can recognize exactly where it was, right? There's a bit more of an elaborate thing at the end that I've adapted a little bit, but we'll get to that. So now he's going to sing some scales. He's just saying the words, right? Oh, so, la. But he's moving the head and the... Oh, you can't even got the camera on it. This is the talk of many things that move. So he's put his little fork up, right? And he moved his head. So you can see his head is all tilted. All right. So now we can move him, we can make him talk, we can move the things on here, we can move the fork and the head. We've got full control of pretty much every motor in the device. So he has some lights on the backpack. The backpack is, this is interesting, this bit here, that's the backpack, right? And that little thing there has lights in it, so we can control those as well. So there's full control of all these different things. I'll just move it like that. And so it's red, green, blue, and all colors. And what you can do is that you can control these obviously as reactions to something. There's some of the games that says, do this to Cozmo when he's, in a bad mood, which means it's red. So it does have a purpose for having that. It's just not a light. You can actually use it for different kinds of programs. Okay. And then, of course, we've got the cubes, which we can also control. So now it starts getting a little bit more interesting. So again, robot, everything starts with robot pretty much. You always have a reference to Cozmo. And this is in this, import Cozmo. And that's where you get your robot reference. Look at the world we have, and we get the light cube, and there's 3 different IDs. So these are hard-coded. There can only be 3 cubes. You can't add any more. And they have different symbols on them. See, that's one symbol there. You can kind of see the other one in the background. So they are distinct cubes, and they have ID 1, 2, and 3. So we can do things with those specifically. So what we're doing here is say if cube 1 exists, then we set the light to red, cube 2 to green, cube 3 to blue, and then we sleep. And that's all we do. So let me just make sure the camera is on it properly so you can see what happens. And obviously Cozmo's not going to do anything now. He's just going to... Cozmo is the one that interacts with the cube. That's why we need to go through the robot to get to the cubes via the SDK. But we'll just try that one. Was it 8 or 9? No one paid attention. 9, they're good. Thank you. So, I was too slow. Oh, where's the last one? Come on. No, did it not find it? Sorry? It said check the battery on did it say check battery? I actually have spare batteries with me, so, but we can always manage with 2. It works all right. But you get the idea. You can set the light of the cube, right? So, any questions for that? It's pretty straightforward, right? There's not a lot to it, which is nice for once. We don't have to be rocket scientists to use the SDK. Well, at least not yet. Yeah. Do I have RGB controls over the lights? No, they are just the 3 colors. Yeah, that would be cool though if we could have 16 million colors, but no, we can't. I would just make them all brown or black. That would be interesting. No, unfortunately not. That would be, maybe that's a future upgrade. I'm not sure. So this is cool. So now we're gonna light him up. So we're gonna light up the backpats when he sees a face. So when he recognizes a face specifically, not just movement, but a face, then the little backpack on the back here will light up. So I'll just try and get these, make sure we can see it. Okay. Zip. And again, that's all it is. We just get the face, which is coming from Cozmo as well. So it's, yep. And we just say face.isVisible. That's as easy as that. And it does all the magic in the background, right? So we'll run that. We're just going to change directory. Which one was it? Oops. Okay. So now you can see what he's seeing, right? So that's the webcam. So now, ideally, if I move in front of him, hopefully there's enough light. Oh, maybe, a bit more. Hello, Cozmo. Oh, and he lights up the backpack. Oh, you couldn't see that. Hang on. See the backpack lights up, and as I move away, it turns off. I move in front of him again, and it lights up. So he's recognized my face, right? Which is kind of cool. And it's pretty quick. It's very responsive. There you go. No, not cool? Cool? Yeah. I knew you're going to clap. And it'll just keep going. And we can capture that image as well. We can use it for other things. We can display it on the front of his face. We can do a few different things with it. There's a discover mode if you use the app, where he'll just go as long as he's got range, and you don't have to follow him, and you can use the webcam to see where he's going. So there's little things like that. The range, well, it's Wi-Fi connection. So however long the Wi-Fi is, obviously it's not the world's biggest Wi-Fi module inside of this. Oh, sorry, Cozmo. But it has a decent range. I can definitely get him out of range in my house, out of sight in my house. Yep. Okay. I have many more scripts. Face follower. So this is Cozmo following my face. So once you get a lock on my face, he'll follow it, which is neat if you need to do sort of a who looks away first kind of game or something. Like you can do all sorts of games with them if you want to get creative. We set the head angle, so that's the max head angle, as in tilt his head all the way up, because that's where the webcam is. So it makes sense that it looks as much up as possible and not on the floor. But then, if there's a face to follow, so that's just a Boolean, right? Then we keep following that face, as in here turn. Sorry, where is it? Here face to follow. So it waits for the observed face, which sets the Boolean, and then up here there's a turn action, and it turns towards face. So again, it's built into the SDK. It's as simple as that, but really powerful. Obviously, if you don't know the SDK, then it's not as powerful. So we'll run the face follower. So now he's looking for a face. We'll put it on here. So if I go in front of him again, hi Cozmo. See he's moving? Try and follow me. He keeps going. Obviously if I'm very quick, he's going to lose me. But if I just kind of goes, hello. Oh, there you go. Ah, he's died. It's still going. Maybe I just screwed him up because moved away too quick. But he'll follow my face. Get 2 claps. Thank you. All right. Come on. Shut it down. Yeah, I'm doing that. So it's Control Z, okay? Controversial. Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm doing that. C, I did that too. Still nothing. Anyway. Now I need to go back to that again. Oops. Where was I? 3. That's it. Okay. So, just stop me if it gets boring, right? So we can make him build a wall. I'm actually not going to make him run this one because he might not find the cubes and it gets a bit boring. But you can get him to find the cubes because sometimes you can't see the cubes. Just who knows? It's probably really difficult. But when he does, you can get him to build a wall and actually put them on top of each other. So like kind of like this. And you can tell him where to put them. Whoops. Oh, thank you, Visual Studio Code. There you go. There's IntelliSense as well. So we can tell him where to put the cubes and stack them and do all that. Stack or roll. This is kind of a fun one as well. So this is depending on how many blocks he sees. So wait until observe number of objects. If he finds none, then he just plays this major fail, which is a sound he says. And I think there's movement as well. And then he can roll the block or he can stack the blocks. So that's kind of neat. We'll just move them around and come on, Cozmo. See how many you see. There you go. Have we got him right here? Almost. Okay. This was, which one was that? 4. No, wrong folder. So you can tell there's a ton of examples, right? Because I'm kind of skipping through the folders. Okay, so now he's going to try and figure out how many blocks there are, so they should light up when he sees them. Where the hell are you going? There you go. Oh, he's looking away. All right, I'll see if he finds them. I can't remember which one didn't work now either. So we'll see. Oh, he's still seeing it. Okay, so it didn't light up. So obviously we can control that as well. So now he's lifting it up. So he's seen 2 because he's stacking them, right? So he's seen at least 2. So now he's going to put one on top of the other. Whee! There we go. And now he's happy. All right, so let's try and run that again. He's pretty proud of himself. So I just want to see this major fail. So if we remove all the blocks, just because we can. Sorry, Cozmo. So now he's going to look for him again. That was the major fail, apparently. He can have real tantrums, though. Okay, we'll put him back. So, okay, now we're getting into the really cool stuff. I'll just talk about this one. So this is, you can have custom objects. You can actually define what an object is based on the 3 cubes. So you can say, oh, if they're stacked like this, they're called this. And you can have them react to them in different ways. And this obviously requires a bit more, well, both mathematics to try and figure out where they are, but also ingenuity and purpose of why would you do that. But you can do it. And there's a lot more to it in terms of what the script does, obviously, because it's, you can see there's a lot more text, Python code. But you can define your custom box here, and you can tell it with parameters what this custom box looks like. But this is the really cool thing. You probably see the title of the script. Tweet at Cozmo. You can't guess what's going to happen? No? All right. So let me just do this first. Does anyone here use Twitter? Sorry, no. The cool thing is that he can use an HTTPS connection just through the interwebs in it here. And we'll just see if this works. See if I can log in. Is Cozmo? Is that going to work? Yes. Okay. So. Oh, and then I need another window because I need to tweet to him. Oops. Twitter. You must mean Twitter. And we'll just log in here as well as me. Wherever I am. I have a few different Twitter accounts. No, it's not here. Where'd it go? Sorry? I think that works still. Huh. How weird. Oh, I think I can actually use that still, I think. There we go. That's me. That's better. Okay. So this is a lot longer, this script, obviously. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but there's a bunch of things in setting up the connection, which are imported from here, Twitter helpers and Cozmo Twitter keys. That's the file that you don't share because it's set up through a developer account with Twitter. Have you ever done that? Set up an app through Twitter? Yep, developer.twitter.com. You get a bunch of private and public keys and secrets and hashes and stuff that you need to give the Twitter API. And that's all set up in this file, Twitter keys that we import. And then you've got Twitter helpers, which actually connects to Twitter. And you can go read through that if you want. And then what we do is we can give them commands through Twitter. I know. I know, that's very exciting. So if I now tweet, no, come on, Cozmo, sorry, that's not right. Star Trek, Cozmo, here he is. And I say drive, I think it's 5. Pretty sure it's the number of seconds he's driving. And if I tweet that, oh, I'm not running a script, sorry. Oh, rookie mistake. And no one said anything. You're not much help. Can't take you anyway. Okay. What was it again? Which one was it? Tweet at Cozmo. All right. Ooh. Need to configure Twitter keys. Oh, because I moved it all. One moment, please. You get live debugging. So in here we have, come on. Lib, where the Cozmo Twitter keys are. I'm okay with you seeing them. That's probably all right. See, they're not set. Because I did set them, so why was it not set? Maybe. Aha. So just if you can remember them by heart, go for it. copy them in there. There we go. Look at that. Okay. Bit of help, a bit of luck. That will be why. Connected to Android. Found one robot, which is lucky. Okay, let's try that again. So, now Cozmo is listening, I hope. You listening? He already got it. So he's moving. Where the hell are you going? I think someone else is tweeting at him, which is okay. This is part of the fun, right? There we go. So, let's see what happened to Cozmo. Who is tweeting? Oh, 8 notifications. Yes! That's it. So the other things you can do as well, so now we'll have a little bit of fun with Cozmo, right? is that we can, so in here, if you look at the script, we can say drive X, where X is the number of seconds to drive for, right? We can see that there. We can also say do turn. Whoa. Hey, come on. There we go. So turn, number of degrees, so you can make them spin around. We can lift, so that's the height of the lift. We can move the head X, so X is the desired angle, so 25 to 45, so minus 25 to 45, 44. And then we can make him say stuff, which I think is what Jeremy was just trying to do. We can do photos. So you can upload a photo of what Cozmo can currently see. So that's kind of, I think you just do photo, and then it'll tweet back a image of what he sees from memory. Oh, 10. So it's not working anymore? Did he turn off? I don't know. Come on, Cozmo. I think he's fallen asleep. It's not doing anything. Might be a bit of delay on it, that's what I'm guessing. He's backing up. And now he's got to go forward, isn't he? He just got to make me run around. There you go. Look at him. So that's kind of cool, right? You can actually, we can tweet to him. He'll do what you say, pretty much. Yeah, what's up? So you can see this is what people are doing, right? So turn 36,000 degrees. Look at that. Mark the Shark. Now it's worth noting that this will only work while that script is running, right? So he's the great Cornelia. So we're up to there. And we just keep going. So I'm just going to be outside. Well, so yeah, what's up again? All right. I'm sorry to spoil your fun. There we go. Come on. There we go. And he's dead. I mean, I killed the script. But you get the idea, right? And obviously we could make him do whatever we want with tweets. It could be you could trigger a game. You can have him respond to tweets. For example, such as him reading anything you say. Again, this is a simpler script, but you just basically get everything in that you want him to say in the tweet. But we have a bit of housekeeping. We take out the retweet, because who the hell puts RT on a tweet? Don't do it. It's just stupid. We don't want retweeted, we won't want tweeted and all stuff. But otherwise, he'll say what you tweet. So this could be interesting. We're still not recording, right? So let's try that. Cozmo reads tweets. I'm sure there's some creative souls amongst you. Don't be rude. You got another one? Hello.
Sinclairinator tweeted at _Cozmo, I will rule all humans.
I think.
Tidy Umps tweeted at _Cosmo forever.
Where we at? I don't even know where he's at.
_tweeted at _Cosmo. I
Just keep going until you stop. Anyone else? All right. You get the idea, right? This is just going to get real bad real quick. Oh, come on. There we go. Does it read emoji? Yeah, absolutely. I have no idea what he'd say, though. I think you put whatever through. Oh, yeah, he might just read out the Unicode. U384. Be a bit boring. Okay, so. Any questions on that, by the way? There's a whole bunch of code there that I went through real quick, but we don't have that much time. Any questions on any of the SDK stuff? Eric? Sorry. Yeah. Yes, up there. That's a really good question. If you install one of the scripts you make, so what you're asking, can you actually run it without having to trigger it? That's what you're saying? No, not currently. I think there are ways of kind of automating them, triggering them somehow. I haven't looked into that too much, but there's no way of just uploading a program to them and having him do it. You can't actually, you want to, essentially you're hoping there is a segment of the firmware that you have access to, is what you're saying. A bit of the RAM or something. Yeah, but not yet. I think that's coming though, from what I can understand. Anyone else? There was a hand up there, yeah. Can you tell a Raspberry Pi, what was it? Oh, towing capacity. Oh, I hadn't even thought of that. He's pretty strong. I mean, he's not a Dodge Ram, but you know, he's not bad. You can kind of feel it when you hold him and he, like the rollers on there. I'd say medium-sized cat. I don't know. I'm not sure. Was there? Yeah, Jeremy. Is the SDK only for Python? There is a C# wrapper. I haven't looked at it for a few months, but it was a bit crude and rudimentary when it came out, but it worked. I think they've improved a lot on it, but there is a C# way as well of doing it. It's not as neat as the Python though, I must admit, but it works. It's there. Was there another one? No. People are just leaving now. I had enough of this robot shit. Okay. Yes.
So the scripts that you write, can you have that be part of the normal thing? Now he does his own thing, but you're not part of the scripts.
I think that's like, can you have the scripts to be part of his normal routine? It's kind of similar to the question the gentleman up there had. Not currently, you can't. You have to enable the SDK and you become sort of God mode. Yeah, there's no autonomous way of doing those, unfortunately, not yet. I think that's coming though, because there's a natural progression of it. All right, we might just continue. I'll take a few questions at the end if we got time. So if you want to get started, you just need Android on iPhone. For some reason, it doesn't work on Windows Phone. I don't know why. Yeah. Does anyone here ever still use a Windows Phone? Yeah, I have like 15 of them or something. But yeah, it's, my telco decided to give me a new phone, and that was sort of it. But that's all you need, Android or iOS, and you can use the app without any of the fandangle with the wires and all that. If you want to use the SDK, there's a little bit more fiddly stuff around it, but it's actually not hard, and their documentation is really good. And you can even get them in Australia now as well. It's like not just US, it's a bit exciting. By the way, don't ever buy that beer. You think Foster's is bad? That shit is. And here's all the references, right? If you want to, the Anki developers section on the Cozmo is really good. It's really detailed, and it's a lot of hand-holding. There's videos, there's written documentation, whatever you think you prefer, the way you want to learn. YouTube has a lot of developer videos as well from Anki. The SDK showcase on the forums is good. There's a whole big forum, and it's really, really busy, the forum. That's worth. And these guys are leaving now. They're not going to get the best bit. Oh, they're still leaving. Oh, okay. So that's loud. So this is AR and Cozmo. There's a 4th of July example that was made last year. It's getting annoyed. It's gonna go wrong. That's really cool. I really like that. And that's another example of what you can do with the SDK, right? So they've integrated with the ARKit on iOS, so the augmented reality framework that comes with the iOS platform, and use the obviously the reaction part of the Python SDK to do reactions to it. It's very cool. There's a word of caution though. Don't give him too much leeway, Cozmo. He does have a mind of his own, and if you do, and he gets really annoyed, things just go wrong. So that's been me. I'm Lars. I write a lot about tech stuff and things on my blog. Quantum computing was one of the things I was doing, which is interesting, yet you just melt your brain. I do a bunch of Pluralsight courses, which is obviously part of my income, hence the plug. And I've just started doing this new show, if you're interested, called The Future of Tech, for some guys called A Cloud Guru. Cloud.guru is the web address. An Aussie company that now is in London, Austin, Texas, and Melbourne in Australia. Really, really cool learning material. And we have a lot of fun with it. So, is there any more questions? We've got 2 minutes for questions. Yes, up the back, sir. How much does it cost? That's a very good question. I bought this for $200 US on Amazon. You can also buy it directly from Anki, and I believe it's in lots of retail stores as well. But it's about $200 US. Yes. Say again?
Facebook market, some are as low as 100.
Oh, okay. Facebook says as low as 100. All right. Yep. Sorry, up there? Yeah? Yes, the lady there. No, there's no recognition between Cosmos, unfortunately. That would have been cool. But again, that's the whole army thing. Yes? Battery life? I'm not sure. He'll actually go and charge himself. He knows where the charger is. So if he's turned on, obviously. He's not turned on right now. But if you've got anything else, just put it on Slack, and I'll jump on there and answer it as well. Otherwise, just get out. Thanks, guys. Yeah, come up here. Kill the mic.